Welcome to DeckMax. My name's Peter. I'm going to be walking you through the process, the benefits and features of what we call the original biscuit. This biscuit is chosen for people who choose to buy their own board, and we provide you the biscuit and the screws. It's going to avoid this. I think everyone's seen this, so our mission in this video, yes, it's about 8 minutes, but we will help you achieve fantastic results. Here's some contractors doing a bit of an overview of the job. You can see we're doing one row at a time. We simply put a screw through the biscuit, which we'll also show you in detail at a later date. We use in conjunction with decking clamps. We have a second generation decking clamp which far exceeds the performance of this one for ease, installation, and how it benefits yourself. As you see, you just go along one row at a time. It's a little bit different to how you've traditionally done it, but again, that's our job, is to help you walk through it and understand it. In this next phase, you'll see we apply a polyurethane on top of the joist. This cue is in a rubberized format. This is put out by a company called Bostik. This comes in a 300mm cartridge. This gives you an acoustic membrane which takes out the rattle and squeak between the boards and the top of the joists. Then you look for how much you apply. Use a visual reference from the underside of the board. As you can see, you can just see a little bit coming out. If you can't see it, you haven't got enough. And if you've got it pouring out the side, you've applied too much. So use a visual as your measure. During the assembly process, you're going to be sure that you do not over fasten the screw into the biscuit in stage one. You've just got to do it in a couple of stages, and that's what I'm going to go through with you now. So do not overfix the screw into the biscuit before you engage the next board. All you need to do is to apply thumb pressure onto the biscuit, put the screw into the hole, back it off about 5 to 10 degrees. The screw head is a pan head, so by backing it off it gives you an angle fix which is stronger and also stops you bushing the side of the board. When you're fastening it down, all you want to do is just leave the screw head about 10mm proud. That just gives you play to engage the next board. Once you engage the next board, as you see the board on the left there, just engage it about halfway. So it's going to give you about a 10mm gap, 15mm gap, so the screw is accessible, but the board is engaged. You then go through, fasten the screws down, and you've secured the two boards together. In the next step, you can see the board on the left is half engaged. Then you can see that we've fastened the screw down. All you do is tap the board in tight after that. This is where you'll have an opportunity to determine the finished gap setting between the boards. Now we've got a few different ways. So as you see it there, that's a 3mm gap when the boards are closed tight on the leg of the biscuit. What you have a choice of doing is doing anything from a 3mm gap, which you see there, up to a 6mm gap. And how you achieve that is just before you push those boards tight together, you can simply insert, in an example there is one of the original biscuits on its side, and that gives you what we call is a 4mm gap. You can achieve anything from a 4mm gap to 6mm. Simply cut the thickness of a piece of ply, say it's 5mm, cut it into little blocks, sit it on top of the screw. As you assemble the boards, that sets the gap. Then you simply release those, take those out after you've assembled, and you've got a different gap setting. When decks are close to ground, you need to allow for expansion and contraction. So talk to us about the specifications of the site so we can recommend the gap settings. You can actually have the board pre-grooved profile, the full length. We can give you the specifications on that. This is what we call our butt joiner biscuit. This is an all-round biscuit. This is used for when we join in a mitered corner or as a butt joint on a joist. This is how we do picture framing boards. This is an all-round biscuit for its application of strength and stability. Gives you a fantastic finish. The butt joints are virtually seamless. You'll get the same with miters. And there you see the picture framing board engages the decking board using the same biscuit. This is what you don't want. Preparing the board, you'll use a biscuit cutter. We've had terrific projects in conjunction with many companies. What we've done is jointly do training with companies. There's different biscuit cutters, but they all achieve the same end result. That is to put a cut in the side of the board. That just shows the blade is a variable depth. The best way to set up is on a carpenter's bench. As you see there, the joists are set on at 450 centers. It gives you a visual reference. You cut a little bit deeper than you need because it gives you lateral movement on the board, but that's the best way to set it up. You can see there's a fence on the back to stop it pushing over, but top is top. You don't just flip it over. Top is top. There's another way. I can chalk mark it as well. So it's up to you and your skill set. This is a kerf in the side of the board, just to give you a bit of a close-up. That's what it looks like. If you were to isolate the cut in the board using a biscuit cutter, that's what you get. All biscuit cutters have what we call as a 4mm blade. All our biscuits are designed to fit into a 4mm gap. So when it cuts it for the butt joiner and the biscuit on the side, so you can see they marry together. So when you get started, you're always going to use the clamps are going to be your best friend. What we do is we assemble one board at a time. This just shows you we've got a good start on the project. These boards were actually grooved the full length, just to give you an idea. It makes it an easy process. You simply tap it in, repeat the process we showed you earlier, join on the joist, screw them down, fasten them, and tap it in, and it becomes a repetitive process. Wherever it lies, it doesn't matter whether it's on an angle joist or a direct joist underneath, you're going to be able to fasten the biscuit. This will just show you an open cut before you insert the biscuit system. When you get started, you can just manually back off some boards, but you do need access. As you can see, you need to get the shaft of the drill bit down between the boards, which is about a 5 or 6mm diameter core, and then you close it down. If you found you've over fastened and the clips missed the board, back the screw off, re-engage the biscuit into the groove of the new board, and repeat the process. As you can see, this is on ground or close to on concrete. This can happen in a domestic application or commercial. All you need to do is, if you can't get a clamp under the joist, you just need to apply pressure in a different way. Use a block to tap it in firmly. That actually finishes the board, because timber gets a little bit jammy and it can actually catch. So what you do it in conjunction with the decking clamps that you have. Remember, we have a second generation decking clamp for you to consider using. Tap with the block, finish it, keep them all parallel, and it won't feather out on you. Please review our decking clamps on the website. There's a 600 span deck clamp, and there's also what we call a 450. Those in conjunction, but it's just a next generation of clamps. These are specifically designed to engage on a 3mm gap at the other end and an adjustable handle and quick set on the other end of it. You simply move them along, normally use about 3 per contractor in a zone. Project that we laid, this was actually 2 display panels for a major trade show in Melbourne done, and what we achieved was a fantastic look with the deck, not only with our fastening systems, but we actually recovered all the material from this 100% recoverable, and if you're using any other system you may recover 50% or 60%, so there's a huge difference between its application, and you get how to get value out of not putting nails and screws through the top of the decking boards. It really has a wow factor, and it certainly modernizes your home. It addresses all the maintenance issues, very low maintenance. When we go on to the diagonal fix on a joist, you could go at any angle you like, 20 degrees, 60 degrees. All you need to do is that the diagonal measurement is actually longer than a cross measurement at 450 joists. There you see, wherever the board touches a joist, you simply insert a biscuit and fasten it down. I have the great pleasure of working with some fantastic tradespeople and DIY customers. This is an example of really high quality. This is a Decmax decking done in a 140 board. He had the tools, he had the skill. Wow, what a wow factor. It's just beautiful. Beautiful job done up in Hervey Bay in Queensland on a private residence. We do work all over the world. This is a beautiful project in Singapore on Sentosa Island. They call it Millionaire's Strip. It can be used anywhere. It can be used with different timbers. It can be used in different environments. In this case, they chose to use a thermally treated hardwood, which is a new technology out of Europe, now being done through Singapore and Asia. But it just shows you different textures of colors. But guess what? No nails and screws in the surface of the decking. That's what it's all about. So this thermally treated wood is going to be available through Decmax coming soon. Please contact us to get further details on the access to this material, how we use it, and some of its physical properties. As we go through, we're just showing you some of the finished products, some of the products we've done in projects around the world from Dubai to Singapore. We've just finished a major project on using our DECMAX original biscuit on a major project in Tasmania. It's one of the most expensive eco lodges in the world, and they were wrapped. It just came up an absolute treat. Look forward to speaking to you when you call DECMAX.